if you're watching this, tonight we discuss that life and other things black people are about. More to come after the break. Hey guys, Video Vixen here. Nice! And, the intro was inspired by the most recent raging, trending topic on Twitter. Hashtag ABC Reports. If you guys don't know, basically there was a story, recently, that ABC put out, about the science of twerking. And this is all inspired by Miley Cyrus and her foolishness. So, the people of Twitter took it upon themselves to create very outlandish stories. Yeah, and the hashtag was ABC Reports. So if you're on Twitter and you need a hilarious laugh, please search hashtag ABC Reports. It's funny. Anyway, outside of that, I just want to get that out the way. Today is a very significant day in black history. 50 years ago today, August 28th, Martin Luther King stood in Washington, D.C. by the Lincoln Memorial, and he gave a speech. I don't know if you guys realize it was called the "I Have a Dream" speech. If you don't know about it, look it up. Google it. Yeah, so he gave a speech, and this speech covered, the climate of the time with racial inequality and just, it was basically a call to action for there to be strides for equality for black people and white people in America. And I just finished rewatching the speech on YouTube, and it's an amazing speech. Seeing that MLK's background as a preacher, I remember when I used to go to church and, I would listen to the preacher, say his sermon, it came off as a sermon. It was very sermon-like. But the thing is that he was encompassing a larger audience. This wasn't like him in a church or whatever. He was encompassing a larger audience, and he was talking to a nation. And even in the beginning of the speech, he said, this demonstration, this speech, this whole moment is going to go down history, and it has. It's one of the most significant speeches in our American, history. But anyway, right, I really want to talk about how the speech, 50 years later, still echoes, or if it does echo, that is. Now, when it comes to black culture, when it comes to the African American, story in America, it saddens me, because as a black person in America, I realize that there are inequalities when it comes to me, color of my skin, and the opportunities that I have presented to me. In college, I was a black studies minor, and a lot of people, would laugh at that major or minor choice. But, I learned a lot of things about myself and about the history of my people from the courses that I took in college. And it really did cause me to be more active and more engaging and, really trying to fight for, people of color. I guess that's hence why I have that picture right there, Know Your Roots. Actually, that's from another thing, but my roommate made that for me, and every time I look at it, it kind of reminds me of Black Power and the call to come together and work as a unit. But outside of that, the speech talks about equality. It talks about, black people and white people coming together and being equal under the oath, under the promise that our forefathers of this country have made, that all men are created equal and that we all deserve life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. My pessimism is that back in the day, when this whole thing was created, we were living in a time where black people were not seen as equal to whites, and that they were counted as 3/5 of a person. So I believe that when, this promise was made, it was only made towards the people who were benefiting from it at the time, and that was the white people who founded America. Black people weren't seen as the same, so I don't think it was catered to us. You know what I'm saying? Even though in the speech MLK says that, all men are created equal, and that's blacks, including whites, but at that time, black people were not considered a man. They weren't considered, black woman, or black people in general were considered men, people. They were just considered slaves, or tools, or whatever the case may be. Do I still believe in the things that he said in that speech 50 years ago? Yes and no. I think, seeing that history has repeated itself for so long, I'm very pessimistic about there ever being equality. I want there to be. Believe me, I do. I want there to be. But I think the concept of a systematic, systematic racism or systematic, just like there's a system in place. The system, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. There's a system in place that is designed to keep certain people down. And this system has been ingrained into this country for hundreds of years. This is not just like, oh, well, this new system has been developed. This has been ingrained into this country for hundreds of years. It's like within the blood veins of this country. And there are people who are in place, or there are people who are in positions to perpetuate the system and keep it going. When I think of equality, I think of the same rights and access to things for everyone. Everyone has the same opportunity to have access to resources and opportunities. But then when I see things outside, when I actually look at the opportunities that are out there, and if it's on an equal playing field, it's not. And I have to be concerned that the color of my skin might not get me an opportunity compared to a person of a different hue. And that sucks. And to this day, 50 years later, after he makes a speech, I still have to worry about these things. I try not to, but I have to, because that is what this country has been built on. It's been built on people judging each other based off the color of the skin. I don't to me, that's arbitrary. I think the color of our skin is arbitrary. Not to say I'm colorblind, but it should be the most arbitrary thing. I mean, this is like, the color of our skin is just a genetic, it's just like a genetic trait. It shouldn't determine one person being better than another, or one person being having a better opportunity than another. I mean, I guess I'm taking it from a scientific perspective, but I guess we have, there's a mentality in this country that, okay, people of color have different, lifestyles or different choices. So I don't know. It's disheartening. It's just disheartening. And when I think of I Have a Dream, not to say that MLK Speech has gone, is not significant, but when he said that he had a dream, when I think of dreaming, I think of being asleep, and I know that's not what he meant, but I'm saying, a dream is different from reality. I respect that he had a dream. If we take it in the literal sense, I respect his dream. I respect that he wanted one day that his kids could grow up in a world where they aren't judged by the color of the skin, but the content of the character. That's the way it should be if we're living in an equal society. But seeing that there's a system in place that does not grant that, not the case. With all the things that have been happening with racial tension, especially with the Trayvon Martin case and other cases similar to that, and it's been repeated over and over throughout the years, can this dream ever be achieved? Do you understand what I'm saying? Because once again, there are people in place that keeps this system going. And it's sad. It is sad. I'm afraid sometimes that the color of my skin is not going to help me to progress in the areas that I want. And I try not to, as I said, I try not to be mindful of it. I don't like playing the race card in attack mode. But there are certain situations where it applies. And I think some people abuse it, other people don't, or people don't know when to use it. But in general, us as black people really have to be smart about the way we present ourselves and the way that we carry ourselves, because it is a reflection of who we are in America. And there's a lot of people that are going to take the actions of one black person and make it reflect on the whole race, which is extremely inaccurate in itself, but it happens. And this is where stereotypes come in. This is where, people's judgments come in. So, I mean, it's just I have to be, I don't know. I get this so disheartened because it's like, I don't want to be angry and pessimistic and not hopeful. But there's so much evidence that points to me being this way. I do have hope. I do have hope that things will change. How long will it take? Well, clearly 50 years is not long enough. Probably has to be another 50. Probably not in this generation or lifetime. Who knows? But something has to give. It has to. Like, I don't know. I mean, I could go into a deeper thing with revolution and talking about Malcolm X and his mentalities and how they parallel to MLK, and how at a time I thought the only way that black people are going to be successful is if we separate ourselves from white society and build up ourselves in, like a constructive way, and probably separatism is the, more important, or, will be more beneficial to blacks because, the systems that white people have put in place does not cater to us. I could go deep into that, but that doesn't help anything. It just doesn't help anything. But this was my mentality back in college, and I still have a twinge of that. But I'm still hopeful that there could be actual equality between people of color and white people. And it's, I'm not saying that there's none now. I think it's way better than the past, but there are still systems in place that create rifts racially. So that's about it. This is a long vlog, but I think it's a very important topic, and I think everyone should take the chance to rewatch the speech and formulate your own thoughts about the status of black culture and equality in America, because it's important. It's important. I would like to believe that, the forefathers meant all men, as in white people and black people at the time are created equal, but I don't believe that's what they meant. And MLK using that, that quote, that's something that the country should strive for, but I still feel that at that time, back when that proclamation was made, that it wasn't catered to us. So either we have to really fight for it and make it evident that we are men and that everyone is created equal, or we're going to have a hard time actually becoming equal when it counts. Black man, black woman, we all just have to really keep in mind who we are and our history and the history of this country and where we came from and how far we've come, but how farther we have to go. And that is my opinion on the matter. I would love to know what you guys think. It's important, it's just important to think about, because no matter what, I can't change the color of my skin. I can't change, who I am. I can't change the opportunities that come my way. All I can do is become the best person I can and let the content of my character speak louder than my hue. And hopefully someone listens. So yeah, that's about it. Thank you guys for watching. As I said, I know this is a long vlog, but I really want to know your guys' opinions. And leave a comment down below, please. Tell me what you guys think about equality in this country, and have we really made any types of strides 50 years later. Well, thank you guys for watching. Appreciate it. And I will see you guys on Friday with a lot more stuff from me. Alright, guys. Fade out.